Hey foodies, and Merry Christmas to you. Welcome to another episode of The Best Bite. I'm your host, Miguel Everett Walker. This again is the show we talk about food and culture, life, and the connections they have together. And today's episode is going to be about tradition. So what is a tradition? Well, let's take a look. If you look in a dictionary, it'll say a tradition is a belief or a behavior, possibly a folk custom, passed down within a group or society with symbolic meaning or special significance with origins of the past. A component of folklore. Some common examples may include holidays, jackpot on that one, or even impractical but socially acceptable or meaningful clothing. For example, lawyers would wear wigs, in olden times of course, or military officers wearing certain suits or spurs on their vestments. This idea can also be applied to other social norms as well. So when I started to think about traditions and things that are passed down that are socially acceptable, or things that are passed down that we do in a certain specific order or routine, I thought there has to be a lot of similarities between the ideology of that word and also what is a recipe. So if you look up what is a recipe, it'll say it's a set of instructions for preparing a particular dish, including a list of ingredients required for the dish. So again, when we go back to the idea of tradition, if it's something that has to do with society, things that are acceptable, you have to do them a certain way every single time in order for them to be acceptable. Just like to have your perfect dish, let's say, you'd have to follow that recipe or that certain set of expectations, ingredients, norms every time the same way for it to be acceptable or good. So I thought there are so many different recipes that come up, particularly this time of year during following Thanksgiving through Hanukkah and Christmas. And I wanted to share with you one of my traditions. So traditionally, one of the things that I've started to do is I will make candies during the holiday season. And one of the ones that I get the most requests from my coworkers, friends, and family is to make fudge. And so a long time ago, because I grew up eating fudge, my mother's friend, a family friend really, she was a friend of ours as well, kind of more like a godmother type of figure, would make fudge, traditional chocolate fudge for my brother and I every single Christmas. And after Thanksgiving, I would just salivate and salivate and salivate for it because I knew it was coming. It was really, really important to me. And when I would take that first bite, it just really kind of started the feeling of Christmas for me because we would always get it a few weeks before Christmas came. So I remember when I was older, I was my late teens, early 20s, something like that. A friend of mine that I worked with made fudge, and it had been, a few years since I had it because that was something she did for us really when we were children. And I didn't really realize how much I would miss it. And so, this coworker just very generously, graciously made fudge for everyone. And it was kind of that same feeling. I, accepted, told her thank you, and just kind of casually took a bite. And then all those memories started coming back about my childhood and how it made me look forward to the winter holiday, Christmas and the like. And I really enjoyed it and how much that really set the tone for the season for me. So what I thought I would do in this particular video is share with you the ways that I make fudge. She gave me a recipe, and then what I did is I tailored it to my own liking, and now it's been something that a lot of people really know me for within my little circle. They want me to make it every single year, and even though in spite of COVID, I did, and I recorded it, of course, and I wanted to show that I had very clean hands. So I've washed my hands. I don't remember if that part's on the video, but they're very well clean. I got really great ingredients like I do every year. And, I wanted to also make sure I wasn't excluding anyone that could not either have dairy, if they were lactose intolerant or vegan. So I've made both a traditional fudge and somewhat non-traditional. So I just took a lot of the base ingredients, same knowledge, but you know, basically the same pathway to get to the same result, but different ingredients. So I'm doing something traditional and also non-traditional. And so that brought up the idea, if we go against the grain, we're doing something a little non-traditional. Is that something that would be socially unacceptable? So if we look back at the rules of what traditions are, a lot of times we run into a lot of problems when we do things that aren't the social norm, or we're trying to be a little bit different. Maybe not for even the sake of being different for, you know, different sake, but it's not a one-size-fits-all world, is it? So I certainly hope that you'll think about that, and you don't have to, if you take any bits and pieces from this recipe, I certainly would not be offended at all if you deviate from this recipe. It's not even really a deviation. Just make it your own. I just want you to enjoy it. So whether you like traditional fudge that has dairy products in it, or you're someone who just really likes a nice, delicious, dark chocolate, robust kind of flavor, this will certainly also be for you. So I hope you will enjoy. Okay, foodies, we're gonna start by making our vegan fudge first. That way, when you get to the non-vegan fudge, it won't really matter with cross-contamination. So we've got some delicious dark chocolate with sea salt. We have 72% dark chocolate, both organic chocolates. I like using light brown sugar. We don't get to use very much, but it's gonna be nice and sweet. We're gonna use almond milk, plant-based butter, and then we're going to use vegan marshmallows. I couldn't find a vegan marshmallow cream or marshmallow fluff that was vegan, so what we're gonna have to do is melt these bad boys down, and I'll show you all that next. Okay, we took our chocolate and vegan marshmallows just to make the marshmallows a lot easier to mix in, and just microwave that for a minute. We're gonna take our boiling mixture of our milk and butter, although this is almond milk and plant-based butter. You wanna pour it directly into the Pyrex glass dish. It's all that yummy molten goodness. And I usually do half and stir. So all of that chocolate gets incorporated. And this might take a while. Okay, we have our gorgeous finished product of the vegan one. As you can see, without having the marshmallow cream, the marshmallows don't break down completely, but when they solidify into the fudge, has a nice kind of whimsical bite, adds a nice light airiness to it. It'll be nice and soft and sweet, and because you have the marshmallows in there, that's why you don't need to add a lot of sugar at all. But you know, fudge really is just butter, chocolate, and sugar. It is a yummy, yummy special treat, and I love making this every year for Christmas. Okay. All right, so vegan fudge complete. We're gonna let this sit out for an hour to get to room temperature, and then I always freeze mine. I like it to stay nice and solid, so it really bars and solidifies nicely, and you wanna make sure to eat it when it's still nice and solid and cold. Okay, foodies, now we have our second batch. This is going to be a more traditional fudge. This is a milk chocolate fudge. This does include dairy ingredients. We're gonna use some milk chocolate in conjunction with some the same semi-sweet organic dark chocolate. And instead of vegan marshmallows, we're going to use marshmallow cream. So this one, because this is actually already whipped, it's going to have a smoother effect. So it'll have a different bite than the vegan fudge, but it'll still be delicious using regular milk. Some people use evaporated milk. I like to use actually whole milk. I could not find the version I was looking for. I was running out of time, so I went ahead and got this. And then we're using real butter and the same sugar and vanilla. Traditional fudge. Hey foodies, so here we have our finished product. I have in this yellow cupcake paper, I have the vegan fudge that we made. And then in the pink one, this light pink, is a traditional fudge. So this one is non-dairy, this one has dairy. So let's try the dark chocolate vegan fudge first. So as you can see, I had to put it in these containers because I wanted to make sure that it was nice and solid and cold, and I like the presentation and also the shape it gives this. So here we go, bottoms up. Oh, that's really good. Again, if you're a dark chocolate fan, I think this is really going to satisfy your sweet tooth, make you very happy. Remember, with this one, I wasn't able to locate a vegan marshmallow cream. So we put in vegan marshmallows and we just heated those up so they would break down a little bit, but not enough to evenly be folded into the rest of the chocolate mix like the dairy fudge. So we do have, in fact, you can see a piece hopefully right here of the marshmallow, but I knew that was going to be the case. And it's nice, it adds a nice light bite, and it's fun and airy, a little bit sweeter, so it's a nice contrast between a little bit mellow and sweet versus that really strong, robust chocolatey taste. Very good. All right. So here we have our traditional fudge. So if you are a fan of fudge in general, milk chocolate, chocolate ice cream, has that nice solid consistency again. You want to keep these nice and cold. So again, I put mine in the freezer. Here we go. Ooh, that one's really smooth. Velvety, creamy, kind of like gelato. That's really the consistency that I go for. Oh, I'm obviously gonna polish these off, but it's gonna look pretty scary, so I'm gonna spare you from that because I'm gonna murder this fudge. What are your traditions? Do you like to stick to a certain recipe? Do you feel like you're being a little bit deviant if you do, pun intended, deviate away from a certain set of traditions? Recipes are our stories. We just eat them, right? We're eating our stories. We're eating a little bit of our heritage and our history. I enjoy, as a tradition for me, a modern tradition, to make these types of treats for my friends, coworkers, loved ones every single year for this particular type of holiday for Christmas, the winter season. What are the things you like to do? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you again for joining me. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad to everyone. Happy New Year, and let's just cross our fingers that 2021 is everything that we hope it's going to be, and a little less traditional. Take care.